garbage that just happened to happen. Now starting to plan 3 mountains. Which strategy would you suggest as of today? Spice Island, I guess. Well, here is the thing, man. Nowadays, there are 2 challenges. The first thing is that you can't. Well, let me think. There were 2 other strats other than the normal strat that I use, like the Spice Islands, India, trade company, you know, typical monarchy, typical conquest strat. That's the first one. That's the normal one. There are 2 other strat that I invented back in the day, but it's probably extremely hard to pull off these days. The first one was play as Ryukyu. Because you are a tributary of Ming, you can go up there to Manchuria. Just, you know, typical no-CB. And what I did was, I think I no-CB'd Yeren. Something like that. Because back in the day, there were only 3 Manchurian tribes, right? And Yeren was the weakest guy. They don't even start with feudalism. So that was the first strat. You can find it on my Steam guide. It's called Tengri Manchu Ryukyu 3 Mountain Strat. That was the first one. You go there, you convert yourself to Tengri, and you change your culture to Manchu. Don't get me wrong, you cannot form Manchu, because I think you have to stay Ryukyu and not form any nations to get the achievement. Unless you don't care about the achievement, then you can of course form something else, but assuming you are talking about it. So the idea is that Tengri is a great religion, right? I think I don't have to explain why. Tengri is amazing. Because first of all, it solves all your unrest problems and tolerance problems for the entire run. And then you have tolerance of heathens, and so you don't have to worry about converting stuff anymore. So you don't need religious ideas, you just take humanist. You don't care about anything else, right? That's why Tengri is so strong. Besides, if you take these days, if you take say any religion, a syncretic religion, you can use their monuments, right? For example, Hindu I'm using, and I get access to all the Hindu monuments, right? So you can basically pick. If you want to go Sunni and use their monuments, go ahead. It's up to you. I personally prefer Hindu for the unrest reduction, and their monument has core creation cost reduction. And for Manchu culture, back in the day, you can use banners. So banners don't cost manpower. You can form other nations, but it must be one tag. I don't think that is true. It's more like the opposite. You cannot form any other nations, but you can use subjects to conquer the world. So you don't actually need to one tag the world. I'm not sure, man. The achievement, at least back in the day, has always been coded that you have to stay as Ryukyu. Like, it literally says tag RYU in the achievement file, and it just says no other independent country exists in the game. It has only been believed that it is now coded that you can be one tag. Okay, so they changed the code then. Because back in the day, for many years, why it was so hard was because you cannot form anyone else. So you are stuck with your idea set, and you're stuck with no core creation cost reduction. But the upside is you can have 10,000 subjects if you want. So one of the strats I personally didn't use, but other people did, was to become shogun. Just use Shogun, have 10 million subjects, vassalize everyone. Since they don't, the daimyos don't take up relation slots, like deep relation slots, you can have as many as you want, then it makes it super trivial. It's like HRE vassal swarm. So that's one of the ways to do it. But again, I didn't personally do it, so it's up to you if you want to do it that way. Anyways, so Tangri meant if you just stick with the old strat where you don't form any other nation, Tangri Manchu is great, like I said, because Tangri is a fantastic religion. It was, if anything, I think it was one of the strongest religions in the game. Manchu gives you banner, which is great. And the other one is, well, there was another strat I invented, was that go there, become Mayan. Back in the day, if you become Mayan, like after government reform was a thing, I made a strat where I first vassalized Kamchadas. Obviously, you have no CB because it's too far. And then you take, what you call this one, Chukchi. So you have Kamchado as a vassal, and then you core next to him, you know, normal stuff, right? And then you go to the New World, become Mayan, and then you do all your reforms. You do all your reforms, and then you can reform off an advanced neighbor, right? So the rule back in the day was that when you are a normal nation, but then if you get force converted, you become a primitive. So you suddenly need to do all the reforms again. But then the good thing is, when you finish all your reforms, you can reform off an advanced neighbor. In that case, it would be Kamchados. And Kamchados is a tribe, right? So you would be reformed and back to a non-primitive, and you would get a tribe government instead of a monarchy government. So it means you can become a horde. You can become a Mayan horde. That's Ryukyu. That's pretty crazy, right? You can become a Mayan. I mean, it doesn't matter if you go Mayan or Nahual, because being a horde itself is already very strong, right? It's like Mayan is just icing on the cake. Nahua is also good because it's unrest reduction and morale, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's another strat. But nowadays, I don't think you can do that anymore because when you switch to native religion, you get all the reforms already done. You don't become a primitive anymore. No, you can't become a horde anymore because you don't need to do the reforms anymore. I tried it yesterday. Like, not Ryuku, but I tried as someone else. I tried to, I have reformed myself. You know, like Kamchado, I've reformed myself. I'm a normal nation. And then I switch my religion to Nahua and Mayan. And I just want to get the core creation cost reduction, right? And then I realized, oh, I don't actually have to do the reforms again. I switch there, and suddenly I get all 5 reform already passed. So I get the full power of the religion right off the bat. But I have to warn you though. If you want to go Mayan, you might as well go Hindu nowadays. The reason being, first of all, the biggest selling point of Mayan is that you have 20% core creation cost reduction, right? If you are Tengri with Hindu, you can use the monument in Varanasi. You get 10% already. If you are Hindu yourself, as in, you know, actual Hindu, you can pick the Shiva deity and you get another 10%. So you already get 20%. As long as, I mean, there's a little bit of cost related to it, is that you have to upgrade this monument to Magnificent. But it's just a one-time cost, right? You upgrade it, you pick the deity, and you have 20%. And the thing is, Hindu has tolerance of heretics, but Mayan doesn't. So Hindu has better unrest reduction overall. Besides, Hindu has events that increases your ruler stats. They are random, but they exist, right? So that's another bonus. And finally, Hindu has more useful monuments than pagan. For pagan, the best you can do is like Sotuta and Tikal. Tikal is the best. I love it because it's 30% step cost and 2 national unrest. But for Hindu, you also get something similar, right? -2 national unrest. Here, Bali, -1 unrest, 15% step cost. So I think Hindu, with these monuments that are available to you, and yeah, I think Hindu is better than Mayan. Like, the core creation cost reduction is great. It was one of the biggest selling points for Mayan, but now Hindu can match that. So I don't think there's any point anymore. Not to mention, this one is another crazy one for Hindu. -15% minimum autonomy in territories. So yeah. But overall, I say Tengri is still better than Hindu because you're trading off the 10% core creation cost reduction from the deity. You just trade that off for more tolerance of heathens, which is more unrest reduction. I think that's great. Just 10%, right? So I think you can suck that up, and you get access to all the monuments again, anyways. And but that being said, I think if you don't want to overcomplicate things, the best, simplest, easiest solution to start as Ryukyu is just to no CB into Indonesia, and then conquer Ternate and Tidore, right? Because these 2 provinces gives you a shit ton of money, right? And then just start unifying the entire Spice Island. You'll be insanely rich. You'll be set for the whole game. And again, you're also very available to convert to Hindu or Sunni, right? That is the easiest and simplest way, in my opinion. You don't have to do any crazy bankruptcy strat or anything, you know what I'm saying? Just start as Ryukyu. You have Ming as your overlord, protecting you from any attack. You can do anything you want, right? You just develop. I mean, Okinawa is a perfectly fine province to develop. You can develop Okinawa and get your renaissance because you start with feudalism already, right? Just have Ming, you stay here, you get renaissance, you will have about 35 development, you have someone starting cash, and then you know CB into Spice Island, do everything. I mean, of course, you can also do it the other way around. Just start no CBing into Spice Islands, move your capital there, and then develop it. It's up to you. Totally up to you, you know. It's it's up to you. Like these lands are also good lands, as you can see. It's grassland for developing. It's got good trade goods. It's situated in a great trade node, so totally fine there. This is what I did anyway in this game. Like, why? I mean, if me as Kemchados can win a war into the Spice Islands with a no CB right off the bat at the start of the game, I think you definitely can as Ryukyu, because Kemchado is in an even worse starting position, right? So yeah, that's my cue for you. And then of course you can go Hindu if you want, which is totally fine option. Or if you want to spice things up like I did, get Tengri, then you can no CB yourself into Siberia, grab Tengri that way. I mean, you don't even, let me tell you something, you don't even need to get land. Just siege them down, offer tribute and then go like enforce religion. Like, because you are animist, Tengri is in the same pagan group, they can definitely enforce religion on you, right? And like I said, Tengri is better than Hindu anyways. Just take Hindu as a syncretic faith and you don't have to worry about like rebels ever again. And I think rebels is a big part of the game, right? Like, if you can ignore rebels, you have good unrest reduction, then you can core higher overextension as well. But as Ryuku, depending on how you want to play it, if you want to one-tech the world, it's gonna be hard. Because these days the AI develop like insane. If you're not a horde, I think you will have a really tough time without core creation cost reduction. Or you have to be really skillful in using vessels. Like, just keep using them, don't stop.